Hello, and welcome to the Far Side of the Moon podcast. Today, I've got Albert,
Hey, what's up, guys?
I've got Lety,
Hi.
and of course, myself, I am Carlos. Today, we are again going over Raised by Wolves, the HBO Max original, and we are going to go over episode 2. And now, to start off the recap of this episode, Letty, do you want to take it from here?
Okay, so we start off in Boston, 2145.
This is a
there's-
flashback.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
flashback. There's a war going on, and you can hear the how do you
They're
say?
necromancers.
Necromancers.
necromancers, and you can hear the sound waves of them screaming and killing off people. They focus on two soldiers, and they find a droid who's on fire. They take it to some type of shelter.
Oh, I want to bring up that as they are carrying this broken down android, they're turning the corner of this place, and you can hear a Mithraic soldier praying. It's like, oh, and we wear the armor of the light that protects us. And right as he's going through the prayer, they turn the corner and they shoot him.
Boom.
So
So much for that shield.
so much for that shield. Okay, go on.
They lay down the droid, and they open up their chest, or the droid's chest, to see information. It turns out the droid, whose name is Albert,
Great name, by the way.
is a A-class medical and was doing some medical exams on Mithraic officers and family. They show the droid also shows who is allowed on the Ark, which is the giant mothership that will take them to Kepler 22b. When it shows who is allowed on the Ark, Marcus's face appears.
Marcus, who was the soldier who runs into Mother
In the first
In the
episode.
first episode.
Okay, Caleb, that's his name, gets the idea of getting plastic surgery to survive, to get on the Ark. Because if they stay behind, they will die. The droid says that it's possible for him to give plastic surgery, and Caleb lays down. He decides to go first, and the droid gives him morphine and starts doing surgery on it.
Yeah, it starts the operation.
I really liked, at this point actually, I really liked the fact how it started off with the necromancers. You already know that necromancer, which would be Mother at this point, she does the shrieking. So you already have that image in your mind of everyone exploding and there's blood everywhere and all this.
I mean, it's a war.
Exactly, and this is how episode 2 starts. It's like, dude, like there's bodies out there being blown up. There's blood everywhere, and these guys are just running through it. And did you guys notice that their helmets that they had actually have a shield for that?
Yeah.
Because they're like,
I did
oh,
not.
visor. They're like visor or whatever, and they click a button on the side of it, and it's just black. Right in front of them. They covered all the way to their nose. So I'm assuming they will be able to see their necromancers and not be affected, maybe?
Yeah, some sort of. Well, we don't even know how the necromancer's eyes affect.
Power works.
We just know that soldiers are not supposed to look directly at them.
Exactly.
I really like her sound waves, like, or her shrieking. I can't get over it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's just powerful.
powerful. I like it. To me, it sounds beautiful. But I know there's people dying out there.
Yeah.
And we saw in episode 1 how they just explode, like complete. Or the first 2 people that she kills, they boil up, but everyone else, they explode.
On that scene, like it's exactly that same scene where the two soldiers are running down. They see a helicopter crash. Did you guys notice that like the girl didn't really care about the robot at all being hanging? Like she just ran up straight to see who was driving it, and the guy's dead.
And the guy's dead, and the robot's just like, I'm on fire. Let me down.
Yeah, like I guess his vocal cords got a little bit fried or something because he did sound like a just full-on robot. It didn't really sound like human anymore.
Oh, yeah, well, it's a different class of android. It's definitely not trying to pass for human.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, I'm just gonna point it out because I just really like the fact that the droid had rings. I just love it. Like, he's performing surgery and he's wearing rings. Like, that's so.
Because it makes him look more human. Dude.
I guess.
It might be that he's actually being paid for his service in some way.
In some way.
In some way.
Anyways, so
Okay. So then They perform surgery on Mary as well, but we don't really see that. He like starts it, but we don't see the process.
No, we do see the start
Well,
of it.
he does he gets rid of the scar, but not really like when he puts the wrapping, how he did with Caleb.
Yeah, we didn't see as much of the detail. We just see Caleb coming up and what's the girl's name? Mary coming back from hunting rats that they're gonna eat, and she's trying to touch his face, and she's like, and Caleb is like, no, don't touch my fucking face, please.
When he just had surgery.
Which I would like to point out, like Lety mentioned, there was no morphing.
Oh yeah, the droid gave morphine to Caleb, but then when it's Mary's time, she didn't have morphine.
Sexist robot.
He didn't have morphine for her.
Okay, so at this point they both have surgery.
And they're eating. They're eating and they're going over a religious text. They're practicing so they can be look or sound convincing when they go to the ark.
Yeah, because they have to infiltrate.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's like the next day because it was gonna take like 2 days for them to
Heal
look.
up.
Yeah,
that's
heal.
right.
So they wake up, or Caleb wakes up and Mary's not there, and it turns out she's in the restroom and she's crying. And Sherry took off the wrappings and she hates it. She hates the way she looks, and then Caleb takes off his wrappings and it's revealed that he now looks like Marcus, and he will not be going as Marcus, and Mary will be Sue. Okay.
So at this point, I want to say it seems like the people that they were are starting to die. That Caleb and Mary don't exist anymore because they are trying to become.
Well, I mean, they have to get rid of that completely. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen, but they do need to hide the fact that they're non-believers.
I would say, I would go as far as to say that they have to fully become that. It's not that they have to hide who they were. They have to embrace the fact that they are no longer who they were.
I did like how Marcus was putting it onto her. It's like, it's fine. Like, I like the way you look. Like, he was comforting her.
Yeah.
But possibly I don't know if you guys noticed, but he took off the mask and he looked at the scar, the new burn mark that he had, and he was like, when he touched it, I could feel that he was like, oh damn, like now I have this, right? So that kind of sucks.
Okay, going on.
Okay, so Mary and Caleb, Marcus and Sue,
Nah.
go to the house of the originals, and they kill the originals. They kill Marcus and Sue. And they start going over some papers, and they find out that they have a son. Like Marcus, the original Marcus and the original Sue have a son.
So now they have a son.
So now they have a son. It cuts off, and they go to this stadium. It looks like they're registering, like to get on the ark, and they find their son. Who is being taken care of with other kids.
Yeah, I mean, because they were soldiers. So someone else has to take care of the kids.
Definitely.
And they go on board. They're getting ready for a hibernation, sleep, and you see Sue pretending to be a mother to their son, whose name is Paul, and she's comforting him because he doesn't.
He's scared.
He's scared. He says that this isn't right, and after that it's intro. I wanted to point out how Albert was talking about it, how he said that he thinks Paul had a feeling that he knew, like, that those people weren't his parents.
Oh, really? How so?
Because when he actually goes up to, when they're sitting down, all of them, and they're taking the little piece of bread, whatever.
Yeah, the communion wafer or whatever.
Exactly that. You could see in Paul's face that he is physically scared, like he's looking around, whatever. And then Sue 2.0, she actually goes up to him and be like, well, like, it's gonna be okay. And she's like, I'm scared, and it doesn't feel right. Like, but maybe that it doesn't feel right. It's like maybe his subconscious knowing that these people aren't really his parents.
I don't know if we can assume that yet.
Right.
But maybe we'll get that later on.
Maybe.
Okay, so after the intro, they show Mother taking off the cloth covering her eyes, or where her eyes are supposed to be, and she inserts new eyes from the droid, she fought in the first episode.
Fought and killed.
That's right.
Fought and killed.
Beheaded.
but they don't show where she put the original eyes she has. I wrote that down. Okay. She takes off the processor from the droid she killed and revives Father. And then when Father is waking up, he notices how her eyes are new. And
I also want to point out that at that moment where she's installing this new processor, the moment where Father wakes up again, he seems full of fear. He seems like the process of coming back to life has some sort of effect on him, some sort of toll.
He doesn't know that time has passed. Like for him, he's like
probably instant.
Yeah, and he died fighting Mother, so he doesn't know exactly how Mother is reacting to him. Is she helping him? Is she killing him again? Like
because the last thing that he saw was her malfunctioning. She was breaking down, and he was trying to fix her, and she ends up killing him. And now she's nursing him back to life.
Also, we skipped this part, but I really want to point it out that when the Ark left, like, everyone was already taken off to capture 22B. They left all the dogs behind in the stadium.
Oh yes, that was.
I did not notice that.
Dude, they left the dogs.
Dude, I'm okay with someone killing another human in a show, but seeing an animal abandoned in a stadium in a world that's breaking down, it's being abandoned. Broke my heart, dude.
Wow.
It's really sad.
Just literally leaving the world to the dogs.
Yeah. Take over, dude.
Mother starts telling Father about the new kids because Father doesn't know that she just fought and killed.
Destroyed the Ark.
Yeah.
Destroyed heaven.
Yeah. Afterwards, it cuts to another scene, and Marcus is shown getting close to this hole, and he ties himself with a rope to get warmth. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, it's the hole that Tally had.
Yeah.
Or it might not be the same hole.
I feel like it's the same hole because
I feel like it's the closest one to their area.
It's the same hole because that's the rope that Father used in episode 1 to go down to the ship.
That's right.
He used that rope to tie himself and to keep himself from falling into the hole, but still get the warmth.
Yeah, he's like hugging a rock that he tied the rope to, and he's just trying to survive the night.
Okay. Mother and Father are shown burying the bodies because Campion wasn't able to bury them. And Mother asks Father for a joke, but humor is completely gone from Father, obviously, since...
Well, I'll say it's gone from him for the moment.
For the moment, yeah. Since he just literally woke up from being dead and being killed for Mother.
But I will point out that Mother's in a great mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has her kids back.
She's burying the bodies and she's like, has a smile on her face. Meanwhile, Father's just looking at her like, I still have the hole in my chest that you made.
Yeah.
Not just that, dude. Maybe she's just like, I was right.
Yeah.
It's that kind of attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Happy.
Yeah, she probably has that sense of validation, right?
And at that part, I thought it was kind of funny because they're about to bury them, right? And you see Father all mad, right? Like, he doesn't even want to. He just threw the bodies. And then he's still thinking, it's like, damn, like, what do I... personally, this is what I think was going through his head. Like, what do I do? Do I just keep going? Mother comes in. Go ahead, Father. What? And then he's like, you can make a joke if you like.
Perhaps
Pause.
later.
Awkward moment. Perhaps later then. I was like, really? Really? You just brought me back to life after you stabbed me?
Mm-hmm. And killed these people. And the whole time Father was asleep. He had no idea what's going on.
Yeah. I would also like to point out how he specifically asked about her eyes. Like, he knows that she's not wearing her eyes. So he wants... I feel like he knows what her power is. And
that's true. How would he even know that?
Mm-hmm. And he knows, like, what did you do with those eyes? Where are they?
That's right.
He asked specifically, did you destroy them?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I have them safe.
After that scene, Father goes to see the kids looking for Campion. And Campion is excited, and he asked...
like, what happened?
Mm-hmm, what
like,
happened?
Because the mother had said that she had to dispose of him.
Mm-hmm. That he was thrown in a hole.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then Father is like, he tells Campion the truth, how they fought, and...
How she deactivated him.
Yes.
Mhm.
He made it sound so nice though. Like, oh, you just press off on my back, you know? I'm like, hell no.
And lie to the children.
Again?
And Campion tells father what happened in the Ark and how they need to take charge. At that moment when he's talking about that and he says that line, mother walks in and just Campion realizes that.
And mother's listening to him.
Yeah. Because he's basically talking about treachery at this point, where if mother's in charge, she's the captain. She's the captain. They gotta try to mutiny at her because she's dangerous. And I would say that she is dangerous, right? I mean, she literally killed thousands of humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Kids too.
In that same scene that you're talking about, mother just talks to Campion like if nothing happened.
Yeah.
And he like breaks his shell and like he's, you know, like, I'm done with this. And he finally like yells at her, he's like, how could you pretend that nothing happened? And he starts going off on that and getting mad at her and stuff.
Yeah.
Afterwards, mother invites the rest of the kids to sit down and eat food and tells them religion is forbidden and asks for their medallions. I'm going to say medallions, but
They're pendants.
pendants. There you go. Okay, she asked for the pendants since they were wearing them. They had to take them off.
These are weights that you no longer need to carry. I really like when she said that because I mean they're significant to them obviously, which is why they're wearing them.
Yeah.
Because you know what, they're just weights. That's it.
And this is the first time we kind of see a little bit of the side of how Hunter is, because mother's talking about no religion.
Who's Hunter?
Hunter is one of the kids that she saved from the Ark.
You say saved. I want to say kidnapped.
Well, she could have killed him.
She kind of gave them no choice.
Saved and kidnapped. Let's compromise.
Okay.
Safely kidnapped.
Yeah, safely kidnapped.
Okay.
And he kind of laughs. He like chuckles at what mother's saying, and that, I mean, that's honestly, that's it. Like they don't really put
Yeah, that's right.
They don't really put more into it, but I really. We'll talk about Hunter later. Okay. Afterwards, they show mother in this room, and she's like humming, and she.
Oh, wait! Before that, I just want to point out that they have sat down to eat, and they're all kind of just like picking at the food, and Campion is like, "What's wrong, guys? It's not poison. Go ahead, eat." Okay, go on.
Okay, and mother is shown in a different room, and she's humming, and she's going over like a few items, and she's naming the original kids. Like Campion, and then she says Spiria.
Yeah, she's like looking at some sort of like
Trinkets.
memorabilia or like
Yeah.
just like little, yeah, like trinkets might be a good word, but there's a word, maybe souvenirs. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's like
kept
little
them.
things that just remind her of the old children.
And I like how dad at that moment, when she was doing that, father comes in and he's like, I also replay the memories of our kids too.
Mm-hmm. And then father slowly starts building up the conversation about her eyes and where they are now.
Yeah.
Mother tells father that she wants them to trust each other, but to respect what belongs to her. Afterwards, she moves this table and shows father that her eyes are under the floorboard.
Yeah, it's like a little part of the little cabin that she's in. Mm-hmm. So it's really hidden away. Like there's no way anyone knows where these things are, right?
You would think.
You would think.
You would think.
Foreboding.
They cut to another scene. Like she shows that trust is there, and they cut to a different scene. And Campion, father approaches Campion, and Campion tells father that they need to destroy those eyes.
Yeah, Campion is still against the mother being as powerful as she is.
Mm-hmm. And then father reassures Campion, and he's like, I'll take care of it, like, trust me. And Campion apologizes and says, I'll never question you again. But father encourages it. I really like that. I really like that father's like, no, like, question me.
Never hesitate to question me, Campion.
I like that in that scene itself. They don't really, I guess, talk about it, but in the distance, like, they're talking to each other. And mother's off, like, walking around doing her own business, but she's looking at them, like, super side-eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's trying to hide it, but not really.
Like, she can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, maybe maybe she can't hear them, but the show's already shown us that she has some sort of super hearing, because when the Mithraic soldier Marcus was talking to Campion in the first episode, she reacted the moment that he was like, "Oh, let's go away now. Let's go away." And that's when she stepped in to try to save Campion, and that's when the android attacked her, and they had that whole fight and blah blah. And
I mean, if she could hear heartbeats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she can hear. Obviously, she's gonna hear a conversation that's a few feet away.
but she trusts Father, and it seems like Father has control of that situation.
Or
so
she's trying to trust him. She doesn't
Okay.
fully trust him.
That's right.
maybe
Yeah, she's getting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
she wants to trust him.
Yeah. And then Campion goes inside with the other kids and offers clothes. Oh, because Father tells Campion to go inside and play with the kids. And Campion is a little bit nervous. He doesn't know if they'll like him. Like, maybe they'll think I'm weird. And the father is
Why
like...
wouldn't he be weird?
The father is like, no, they'll like you. You're the same...
You're like them.
You're like them. You're human. So Campion goes inside and offers the other kids clothes to keep them warm.
Well, it's like blankets. I don't
Blankets,
think they
right?
changed their clothes.
Are you sure? Because Hunter sees a little tag on like a...
You wouldn't put a tag on a blanket?
I wouldn't. Not for a blanket. Maybe clothes.
I'm pretty sure they're blankets.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know.
A type of cloth.
Cloth is given to the kids, and
Okay.
one of the cloths has the name of the other kids. And
Hunter asked
Hunter reads
about
it.
Gavin, since the name is on the cloth. And then Campion explains how
There used to be more.
there used to be more, but they passed.
No, by the way, I want to point out that this is where I also felt a little bit bad for Campion in that scene, because he does give them cloth, I guess. He does give them cloth to the other one so they could cover themselves
Sorry.
from the cold. And Hunter, being a little jerk that I'm starting to notice this character is, he's like, thanks. A little bit of sarcasm, but it just goes over Campion's head. He's like, oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Did you not?
Campion's so...
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think
Hunter
about
kind
it-
of scoffs at it, like this
Yeah,
kid.
like he doesn't know. But I think about it, and I mean, he was raised by androids.
Yeah.
Did they really have sarcasm?
No,
Exactly.
the most that they had was Father's quote unquote humor.
At this point, Campion turns to look at Paul and sees that Paul is holding a mouse and is very interested. And he points it out and he's like, "That's a mouse, isn't it?" And then Paul mentions how the mouse was born in Earth and how they were, and they look the same, but they're actually 13 years older mentally.
That's right. Which means that they matured. They're not really kids, I feel.
Well, okay, I'll go against that and say that they haven't shown that the kids have matured. They're just physically, the bodies are physically
Oh,
older.
yeah, definitely. No, that was just me assuming. I mean, you live for 13 years, you're
Oh
eventually...
yeah,
gonna
and they were in a
mature little
simulation
bit.
for God knows how long.
Mhm.
Like it felt,
They did say that time was going to be a little bit...
yeah, it's gonna be
wonky,
different.
Or...
Yeah, I don't know. I would love for them to go further into that kind of simulation life that they had, because it is a whole life that they had under the simulation.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because time was going to be a little wibbly bobbly.
I just mean that like while they might have matured, it doesn't seem like that. They still seem like kids.
Definitely.
Okay. At this point, Hunter kind of shows authority, like he's the leader of the kids, because he looks at Paul and he, I guess, like forces it, and he's like, "Oh, give it to him." Like he wants to see it, give it to him.
Give the mouse to them.
Give the mouse to Campion. So he kind of hesitates, but Campion is excited, and he's just like admiring it because he hasn't seen an animal before.
He's never seen
like
it
his
now.
nervous laughter was like super, like they made it stand out, is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah,
really,
I want to make a point to say that like all these kids are children actors, of course.
right.
Yeah.
We don't know how good they are, right? But this moment, I do think it is really good of the actor of Campion. That like, oh yeah, it really shows that he has this moment of wonder for the mouse.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
At this point, I feel like Hunter made Paul give the mouse to Campion so he can kind of bring him in and then
Well, it's to manipulate him, right?
yeah,
Exactly.
manipulate him and start talking about Mother, how Mother killed the other kids and Now she's gonna start killing them. And how she acts human, she isn't.
I
And
wanna point out Hunter, fake news. Fake news from Hunter right here. Go on.
Damn.
And how she's not human, and if he has noticed how mother and father act when they're not with them, like
We haven't seen that, but I guess we were supposed to assume that Campion has seen them just act like androids.
yeah,
Well, I guess he has seen it a couple times when
Like what?
mother is like recharging or whatever she's doing, just standing out of nowhere and doing like a crucifix kind of stance, and you just hear a giant like humming. I guess you would say.
Yeah, I guess I would just say that like that was when she was malfunctioning, but
I mean, it happens a little bit in this scene, because he mentions that he's like, "Have you ever seen an android when they don't know they're being looked at?" And that's actually when he sees her because the mouse, he was holding the mouse, remember?
that's
and then mother
that's
comes out.
literally like after this scene because
okay, I don't remember this, but that's fine.
Okay.
We'll move past that. I'll
and
move
then
past
Hunter like offers him to pray with them because they still, even though religion's not allowed in the house, they still secretly do it when mother's not around. Campion says no, like mother will not, like she wouldn't have this, I can't do this, and then Hunter's like completely cuts him off and says, okay, be lookout then. Okay. The scene cuts off and it's the next morning, and Campion is seeing mother through the window and he's holding the mouse. Because at this point, Hunter made Paul give the mouse to Campion.
Yeah.
And this is the scene where she's kind of standing, that Albert is saying. She's kind of standing like in a crucifix.
Kind
that. Well, it's a T pose.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, I
T
mean,
pose.
I'm just saying crucifix kind of deal because I mean we're talking about religion.
Oh no, yeah, it is
really.
definitely a religious heavy show, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Just trying to paint an image here, you know.
and I'm trying to push back on that.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. She feels someone staring at him. Like, this is how good her power is, that she can feel someone staring at her. And she just turns around really quick, and obviously Campion is not fast enough, and she sees him kind of hide. She walks inside and asks about the mouse. Like, she automatically knew that Campion had the mouse. And I wouldn't say forces.
Yeah.
Why
But
not?
she does, because she didn't really grab him, or, like, it wasn't like
Well, I
a
mean,
stare.
force doesn't mean necessarily that you have to grab someone to imply it.
Okay, she showed authority. Let's go with
She's
that.
being stern.
Stern. A stern
She's
mother.
she's being strict.
Yeah, she's being strict and makes Campion give the mouse back to Paul.
There we go.
Okay.
How much of this show is just arguing over semantics? It's fine.
It's gonna be the whole show, Nick. We'll be arguing the whole
Yeah.
time.
But this is why it's a good, because we have different points of view.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, yeah, she was doing a crucifix sign.
That's totally true. Okay, moving past that. Everyone can watch the same thing and come out with their own fucking
Yeah.
idea. So that's fine. Crucifix.
It cuts the scene, and the kids are shown working, and
What are they working?
they're working. They're planting more food, I guess.
They're
is-
They're
carbos.
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 Yeah,
Don't sleep on the carbos.
Okay.
that's right.
Carbos.
I need to make sure people know that they're carbos, man.
Very important.
Hunter says he doesn't want to roam around in the dirt like a slave boy because he has the IQ of a 205.
Damn.
Super smart boy, Hunter.
Super smart boy.
Chiflado.
Father hears this and tells him to go to
Wait. He hears this and he questions it. He's like, "Oh, so you're the smartest in the group?"
yeah.
And then goes to
Points
Paul.
in Paul.
Yeah, he says, "Are you sure you're not the smartest?" And Paul pushes back. He's like, "No, I think he's the smartest."
Isn't that kind of weird? Like, why would he assume that Paul was
Yeah.
the smartest
Well-
if he's the smaller one in the well,
I-
not the smallest one, right?
Well, I don't know if it's supposed to be something that we
Like
read into
foreshadowing?
too much, but
Right,
it may be foreshadowing. It could be that Father senses something in Paul that no one else does. But it's definitely something they made a point to show in the show. That
Spoiler
Father is
alert.
like, "Hey, Paul, aren't you the smartest?" And Paul's like, "No." I just want to point that out.
Spoiler alert.
Showing that. Okay. Anyways. Father asked Hunter to go towards him, and he does this riddle paradox thing.
It's a joke.
It's
Well-
a joke. I don't know if you would like to comment on the.
It's
I would like to recite the joke.
It's a
if
quote
possible.
unquote joke.
It's a quote unquote joke.
It's a really good one.
It's a malfunctioning android, a Mithric cleric, and a cat. walk into a brothel. The malfunctioning android asks for a robot with mechanical skills. The priest asks for a virgin with the knowledge of the Mithraic mysteries. And the cat cannot decide what they want. So they turn to the priest and the android for suggestions. The priest turns to the android. How is it possible a cat is talking to us? The android responds, none of this is real. I am malfunctioning. And the priest replies, oh, thank goodness. I thought I was going crazy.
Making it
And
paradox.
and Hunter's just like, huh.
Yeah, Hunter seems annoyed, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back and work.
I was wasting my time. Over
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Hunter's like, I've got more jokes. This one also involves a cat.
Like I think
Yeah.
his IQ dropped at least 10 points right there with that joke.
I love the joke. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, they cut the scene and they show mother with the children, and she's teaching them a lesson. It's kind of like she's helping them meditate in a way. Because I feel like it's relaxing the way mother's doing the lesson.
Yeah.
When mother starts hearing, she focuses on the
Well,
girl.
well, before we get into that, I want to
Okay.
point out that this moment where she gets them all in a circle and she's recounting the way that life started on Earth. She's saying that like no one had eyes and it's just the warmth of the star that you feel and blah blah. It sounds very much like prayer. Like it feels like they're
Like an atheist prayer.
yeah. It feels like and that's basically what it is.
I
She's
feel like-
instilling the belief of science on these kids.
I
Right?
feel like what she's kind of telling us, though, it kind of sounds like the womb.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like the womb because I mean we have no eyes. We don't see anything inside the womb.
But we feel the warmth.
Exactly.
That's very interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, going on.
Okay, she focuses on this girl, Tempest. I'm gonna say teenager. She's not little anymore.
Yeah.
I'll say maybe like 17, 18.
Okay.
Really? She looks younger than that to me.
I was thinking-
Okay, I want to say this because what happened to her, I really wish it wouldn't happen to a child.
Well,
But-
yeah, that is true.
Fair point.
Obviously, not 12 or 13.
She's
I'm
definitely
Like 16 and up.
she's definitely at the age where I think legally she could probably masturbate from her parents, and in America you could probably start living your own life. She definitely seems old enough.
And she starts hearing two heartbeats coming from her, like Tempest's heartbeat and another.
And so she pulls her aside.
She pulls her aside, takes her to another, room?
Well, she takes her to the first room where in the first episode they actually built camp. I guess like their base.
It's like the incubation room.
There you go.
Okay,
Exactly.
there you go.
She takes him. To
I'm
that
just
room.
gonna go a little bit back and say how Campion tries to comfort the kids and say she'll be fine. I took care of it.
Oh,
Ugh.
Okay, just leaving. Yeah,
foreboding.
Here we go.
leaving it at that. She goes back to mother. Mother takes the girl or Tempest into the What was it? How did you?
Well, we could call. What did you call it? Incubation room.
Yeah, I guess the incubation room.
room.
Yeah.
And asked her to just not do anything anymore, and
You won't
Just
have to
do-
work. You can just sit here and
Clean
rest.
around the house.
We need to make sure that you're well taken care of.
at this point, she starts explaining how she's, I'm gonna say sad or upset that she's pregnant since it happened from a heliodromus.
Yeah, she got
She got raped.
She got raped by a heliodromus, which is the second highest member of their church. I would like to point out.
I want to point out it happened while they were hibernating.
Yeah.
She's not the only victim, is what she says.
That's right.
That there was a couple, and that the guy was actually convicted, and he's supposed to die.
Yeah, he was supposed to die, but since mother crashed the ark, she didn't get to see it. And Tempest says how she would thank her, but she wanted to see him die.
Yeah.
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 I wish she was one of those guys that she blasted with the shriek noise at least.
At this point, cuts to father, and he's alone practicing jokes, and he starts hearing
I love that, by the
Yeah.
way.
the practicing jokes.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Knock knock.
He starts hearing like rustling and then like a scream. I put howl since hopefully It's referencing a wolf.
So some more wolves coming in. Who are they gonna raise?
This is like the third reference of wolves throughout the show.
Some sort of animal cry.
Yeah, an animal cry. Mother's still with Tempest, and she hears it too.
So they go outside.
Yeah.
Mother and father meet, and
she asked. Oh, she went for her eyes.
oh yeah, that's right. She went for her eyes first.
Yeah.
They're not there, so she goes outside and meets father.
And asks.
Accuses him.
Yeah, accuses him of him.
Did you destroy them? Is that what you
destroying
said?
them.
Did you destroy them?
And father knows exactly that Campion has them, and he, like a father, says he'll take care of it.
I'll handle this, mother.
Yeah, I'll handle this. He goes with Campion, and Campion doesn't want to give it to him.
Yeah, it seems like Campion is like looking outside of the cottage, sees that they have that confrontation, and then runs and pretends to be asleep.
Yeah. Father kind of shakes Campion, and the eyes fall out. Which, by the way, I know he's a kid, but honestly, why have them? Try to hide them somewhere, maybe in the bed. Why have them with you?
Or destroy them, right? The way that he said that he would.
Yeah, like he wanted to.
Not that they show, but maybe he tried and failed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because in the show, it kind of skips a little things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he tried and failed. That wouldn't surprise me, though, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, well, but I did want him to, like, at least try to hide them in his bed. Like, I know he's a little kid, so he's not
Well, okay.
good with hiding spots, but...
I will say that if they had anything more going on with the eyes, it would just take a little bit longer, and it seems like it's a really urgent matter at this point for the plot.
We
to
wouldn't
get
have
the eyes.
seen him, like, hide them in his bed, but when father is asking him, not have them with him. Like...
Yeah.
So it's just that Campion doesn't want to give up the eyes. He doesn't give up the eyes. Father ends up taking them from him.
Also, at this point, we do see a little confrontation with Campion and his father, telling him, "It's like I told you, like you said, you take care of it, and you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything,"
Yeah.
and he picks him up.
Yeah, and he's like, "There's intruders in the perimeter, Campion."
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, mother's seeing all of this, which it proves to her that it wasn't father, it was Campion. So now she can trust father.
So the eyes fall from Campion, I guess a pocket that he had somewhere, and then father grabs it, throws the eyes to mother, it catches them in midair.
I need to point out that throw was like on point. Like he threw it. I'm not even sure he looked at mother. Just went to the side real fast. Mother just extended up her arm. Boom, caught it. This is it. Let's go.
It's a really I like that scene.
It reminds you. It keeps reminding you this show. I really like that these are androids, so they're, I guess, precise on things that they do.
Yeah, they're really quick to act.
Yeah.
Okay, mother puts them on and she starts.
She transforms.
Yeah, she
into
transforms.
the
She
necromancer
levitates
form.
and she's looking for the
T-pose.
creatures.
And I guess at that point was where Tempest was in the room.
Tempest is in the room and she starts seeing the creature crawl around the room.
Yeah, it's like a semi
Like a tent?
opaque,
Okay.
it's like an opaque fucking wall that the incubation chamber has, so you can see the outline of the creature as it's crawling over it, and she's scared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
scared and decides to go outside and starts running. The creature obviously is faster and jumps on Tempest.
At that very moment.
At that very moment, mother just
shrieks
and kills this creature, which I really like this scene because Tempest kind of looks at mother, and mother's like, "Don't look at me!" Like, I love how mother, even though she transforms, she's still conscious, and she's like protecting.
She wants to protect the children.
Yeah.
I mean, they're her children.
Yeah, they're
her safely kidnapped children. Kids are gonna get Stockholm syndrome.
Okay, so at this point, the perimeter's secure.
I also want to point out that the creature kind of looks like a super skinny skeleton type. It looks really weird, but very cool.
We don't get to see a lot of it.
Yeah, we don't get like a good view. I want to say it's a really big, tailless dog.
Yeah. Well, the thing I kind of the way I kind of look at it, it kind of looks like maybe a more primitive version of like Alien, like the Ridley Scott Alien. It's like like the aliens from Alien are completely dark.
I didn't see any eyes. You're right.
Just completely dark, but this thing is kind of gray and it's a little smaller, but it's got like the same kind of rib cage, and it has a tail, but it's not quite as long. It's definitely not as long.
We point out Ridley Scott because he directed this episode.
Yes, he also directed the second episode. Yes. Okay. I think he produces the whole thing, but I'm not checking that right now.
Right.
Okay. At this point, no creatures are there because Mother killed them. And
She powers down.
She powers down, and Father tells her to deactivate, basically. The Mother mentions that in 12 years they hadn't seen any animals.
Why now?
Yeah, why now?
Yeah.
And thanks Father for not taking her eyes.
I really like that scene right there. It's like, thank you, Father. For what, Mother? For not taking my eyes. And at that moment, Mother turns to him after taking out the necromancer eyes, and it's just empty sockets in her.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to use that effect a few times. I think it's a good effect.
That's crazy. So Mother doesn't really need the eyes to be aware of what's around her.
I mean, do we need eyes to be completely aware of what's around us?
That is very true.
Yeah.
Good call.
Okay, and then just a small scene before the episode ends. Marcus is shown, and two creatures approach him.
Yeah, he's still sleeping next to that rock.
Yeah.
It's probably the same night to him, right?
Yeah, which he stayed there for warmth, by the way, because Mother did mention that the nights were getting colder, and that's why they were going to move to the tropical zone later on, right?
Yeah. And I find it really weird how they didn't try to attack him or anything. They just pushed him in the hole, and Marcus is saved because he was wrapped around in that rope.
I'll say that's a form of attack. They don't know if he's wrapped up or not. It just looks like they're trying to kill him.
I meant like try to eat him or something.
Oh, well,
yeah.
we don't know what these things eat.
Yeah, that's true.
We just know that they seem to be attacking the humans.
Or maybe them throwing it into the hole is them feeding something bigger.
Ooh.
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
Some more foreboding, maybe.
Afterwards, you hear voices and.
Well, Marcus falls into the hole.
Yeah.
The rope it catches him. So then, it snaps him back into the hole, and he hits his head really hard against it.
Yeah.
You see blood coming
Passes
from
out.
his head.
Yeah.
And he's completely out.
And then you hear true. I'm gonna say
Soldiers?
We hear Mithraic.
Okay.
Yeah.
People approaching, and then you start hearing a beeping sound from a device that they have, and he is saved by them, and Sue, aka Mary, is with them. Episode ends.
Great. So at this point, we know that Sue has survived that thing. That's something that is something I was worried about, because they have the whole introduction of Mary/Sue as a character, and I'm like, oh man, did she die on the ark with everyone else? Like we have no way to know if she survived until this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that we found out that she is alive, and not later on that Marcus finds out that, oh, she died, and he goes through this whole thing where he's heartbroken about it. I'm glad she's there, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because, I mean, they're in it together. They're going through this together.
I do also think that she might be one of the best actresses in the show. It'd be a race between her and Mother.
Mother is
Personally,
a very good.
She's a really good actress.
I mean, well, at this point,
acting
we've
as
only
a droid,
seen...
I believe it. Like.
Okay,
As
but
a
how hard
droid-
is it to act as a
I
robot?
feel like it's hard for me, like being like monotone and kind of just.
I'll act as a robot right now.
You're selling my point, dude. Not to diss your acting skills.
For me, I guess at least for me, I think acting as a droid would be hard for me.
I think what's
Like-
hard is acting as a droid, breaking
Oh yeah.
programming for a little bit more human. No, not even just human, more into a mother figure. I feel like
Yeah.
that is very complicated.
Oh yeah, and that's why I'm saying that she's a great actress. I'm not even saying that she's worse than Mary/Sue.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out that Mary/Sue is a really good actress. I really like her in the later episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, we haven't really seen too much of Sue, like myself and Lety, so I can't agree or disagree with you at this point.
Okay, well, just to break the barrier a little bit, you guys have seen episode 3.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
That is true.
Okay, we definitely see a lot more of Mary/Sue.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Keep an eye out for our next episode. Until then, catch you later from the far side of the moon.